I'm going to start working on the Eat, Play, Love scrapbooking workshop, and I'm going to use it to make my own layouts. So I wanted to get on and show you what I'm going to be using. Now in the catalog walkthrough, I went through what was in them. What I'm going to use is this scrapbooking workshop, the mix-in paper, 1 pack, and 1 pack of the Picture My Life cards. Now I'll also use the stamp set that goes with it. And if I can find it here, I may use this one and this one because I like the mason jar. Plus it has all the little utensils in there, so they're really cute, so I may incorporate these into my workshop too. But don't feel like you're obligated to get all that stuff. If you just want to recreate the pages, just use the ideas, change your layout, change your embellishments to match what you may have in your stash. Okay, so I'll get back on and we'll get started. And this will just be I'll show you what I'm starting with, a couple of the techniques that I do to put it together, and then the finished layout. So it'll be a quick video. Okay, thanks. This is going to be layout number 1 with this collection, and I'm using some really old photographs from my wedding that I haven't scrapbooked yet. Shame on me, I know, but I'm glad I'm getting to it now. Better late than never, right? So the paper I'm using, this brown one, is from the mix-in collection. The paper with all the squares has a large frame on the other side with a large flower, and I like all these little icons for kitchen type motifs. So I'm cutting them up, and they're 2 inches by 2 inches, and I'm going to take this little thin cut. It's from the waterfall card thin cut set, and it matches this design in this paper collection perfectly. It has little scallop with little dots, and that's the thin cut. It's the same as that, and you'll see pictures of that in the close-up. So I cut out a bunch of the little squares. I selected ones that might go with the pictures that I have, because it is a wedding photograph, not food. I didn't want food, but I did want the flowers. It's of my mom and dad, and my mom absolutely loved flowers, so that's the reason for that. And she and my dad had the best relationship. They love, honor, and cherish. It was fitting for them totally. So that's what this title is going to be. And I use the Distress Oxide inks to ink almost everything in the collection from all the paper layers. And I am fussy cutting out these mason jars that have the love letters, and they are just adorable. And those are from a Picture My Life card. And for the base paper that was French vanilla, I put some of the distress inks on it, and it wasn't quite enough, so I put some of it on my glass mat and used that plastic piece to add some more texture type look to the ink. I love using this technique. It's relatively new to me. It may be old in the scrapbooking world, but it's really cool. And I don't show it in the video, but I do add some of the same effect with the peacock feathers ink to match the ink that I put on the mason jar, and I ink the edges of the glacier cardstock that I use for photo mats. And I just use a little mask there for the mason jar to add a water line. Although it's kind of wavy, it looks like the water's a little choppy inside that mason jar, but that's okay. I can handle it like that. And then I use this marker, this red marker. It's the dark red blend, to color the heart and highlight it with the darker outline. And then I'm going to use the Fair Skin Blend marker to just add a little color to the sides of the jar And I could have used blue, but since brown is type, the almond color is the overall color of this layout, I wanted to use a warmer tone color. So that's why I used the Fair Skin blend. And then I also used the gray to make a little circle around the bottom for the base of the jar. And I also inked the bottom of the brown jars that I had fussy cut out to add a little dimension to them. And I popped everything up on some cardboard. I didn't show that, but using foam adhesive, I would have used the whole roll, so I used cardboard instead. And the photo, I'm going to double it on a mat, and I do that quite often, and I'm going to double mat it in red and then the glacier and put the pictures together. Gives me a little room to embellish beyond that, and then I have a larger journaling card that I put underneath the photo. So moving on to the next page, and I'm showing how I inked the brown paper there, and then I also inked the zip strip that I cut in half, one for a 1/4 inch border for both pages in the glacier color. That's a zip strip, and I inked that as well. And then I'm gluing these down, and you'll see how I fold it in half and rub the glue together so I don't get a lot of seepage. That way you don't have a big gob of glue in one area and no glue in another area. I kind of spread it around using the paper to do the work for me. I use a bone folder to smooth it out and make sure it's good. I don't like paper that curls at the edges, right? Love these Distress Oxide. These layout or die cuts for this layout have a white border around them that you normally really like, but for this layout it's really soft and old-fashioned. You know, it is older, but my mom was just warm and soft, and that's the feel I wanted to give the layout. So I inked the edges just so the white didn't look so drastic. All right, here I'm showing how I inked the edge of that yellow flower. It was very bright, colorful yellow, and I wanted to soften that up, so I used the Antique Linen Distress Oxide ink with the blender brush. The blender brush gets in all the little crevices of the die cuts really well, so I like using the blender brush for the smaller ones. And I'm going to show, yeah, I soften up the red ones with the red as well, and I did the yellow around them as well, just to give them that warm tone for a rose. Those were her favorite flowers. Well, she loved all flowers. I love all flowers. I know that's where I get it from. Look at how bright those are. Now the overlay is going to go on it. See how drastic that is to have that white on there? So I'm going to take that antique linen and soften it up with that. It's a nice warm soft yellow, so it worked really well, and you'll see that in the close-ups. And those little 2x2 cards in this collection are just so cute. They're gonna go a long way because I cut them all up. One sheet has, I don't know, I didn't count them, but they're 2x2, 12 inches, so it's six, a lot. And I just used a little mask to hold down and cover up so I didn't get red where the red wasn't supposed to be. And you do want to use paper when you're holding down something that has Distress Oxide on it to cover your fingers, because the oils in your fingers will make the ink react. So you don't want to leave fingerprints on it. So a Post-it note or some kind of scrap paper on it will help cover that up and prevent that from happening. and there's the finished layout. Thank you for watching, and take a close look at some of these flowers there. They turned out so pretty. Those yellow ones in that mason jar are so nice. It's a very nice collection. Thank you. Take care.